Hello, welcome to the new channel. Thanks for being here. Hello. This is the hard bit. Just get the intro out of the way, the rest just come naturally. Hi. So, I've rebranded the channel slightly. I'm changing the content that's going to come out, and this is the first video with my face in it. So I felt like a proper introduction was in order. And what you're probably going to realise over the course of this video is that I'm terrible at introductions, and I've never done this before. But stick with it, and you might learn something. Maybe. Or you can just laugh at how completely incompetent I am at this. You know, it could go. For those of you who are new to the channel, which is most of you, apart from you, Mum, appreciate the likes, keep it up. What I'm going to do is look at all the video game subscriptions that are available right now, compare them, play through their libraries, and see which is the best value, and hopefully you can decide which one will be the most suited for you and which one you would want to play, want to subscribe to. Video game subscriptions started back in 2014 with EA and Sony. And since then they've grown pretty massively, and now most publishers offer a video game subscription of some description. So just to list them off, we've got Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Now, EA Origin Access, Uplay Plus, Google Stadia, Nintendo Switch Online, and Apple Arcade. There are a couple of other services like Epic Games Store and Xbox Games with Gold that offer a couple of free games per week or per month. But I'm not going to include these because the way I see subscriptions going is as a all-in-one substitute for how you play and buy games traditionally. So only a couple of games a month, and some of them are just there for the month, just January 1st to January 31st. It's not going to change the way you play these games unless in January the two games you were prioritizing playing were Lego Star Wars and Tekken 6. I've got a lot of time for Lego Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's quite an old game. So we've got the list. It's the first thing you've actually learnt so far. I'm doing good. So if you want to find out which subscription is the best, we're going to need to do some maths. We're going to need to weigh up two important factors about video game subscription: the library of games on offer and the money. That's what it's all about. So let's start with the cost. Xbox Game Pass, you've got the base subscription for $7.99 a month. You've got the PC version for $3.99. And you've got Ultimate, which combines the two and gives you an Xbox Live Gold subscription for $10.99 a month. PlayStation Now comes in at $8.99, and you can play that either on your PlayStation 4 or on PC, which is pretty cool. Uplay Plus is $12.99 a month. Google Stadia is $8.99 a month, with a free version coming this year. Nintendo Switch Online is £3.50 and obviously includes the online service. And Apple Arcade is $4.99 a month. In my haste recording, I forgot to include EA Origin Access in this pricing list, but it's okay. Boop, there it is. It's $3.99 per month for the basic subscription and $14.99 a month for the Premier version. Apologies. I will continue now. So you've got quite a variety of price points in there, and also a couple of tiers, which might help depending on the library, which one would be worth it. That didn't make any sense. That was barely a sentence. Depending on the library and which games you actually want to play could help you save a bit of money. A lot of these also let you buy for 3, 6 or 12 months in bulk, which can help you save a bit of money there too. So a subscription to all of the above will give you access to 1,300 games and will cost you £65.50 a month if you round up little pennies. So that's a lot of games. There's a lot of stuff to play through. I don't expect you to do that. Let me do it. That's the premise of this channel. I'm going to play through 1,300 games. I'm going to tell you which ones are good, tell you which ones are bad. And based on that, we should hopefully figure out which ones are worth having. And you can know, based on what consoles you have, what games you like, you're going to know which subscription is the best one for you. Because, most of us aren't going to be able to pay £65 a month for all these games. I can't even afford that. But that's okay, because we're going to cross a couple of them off the list. Google Stadia looks like it's positioning itself more as a streaming service than a subscription service. So for $8.99 a month, you get access to one free game per month, which at the moment is, I think, Destiny 2, Farming Simulator, 2019, not even the new one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, and Thumper. So basically Destiny 2. There are more games in the library, but you have to pay, traditionally, you have to pay 60 quid for Red Dead Redemption 2. despite the fact you could get it on PC now, Xbox, PlayStation for much cheaper than that. So that's £120 up front for the controller and the Chromecast, and £9 a month to play Destiny 2 and Farming Simulator, with constant fear that your connection might not be good enough to even play the game. So we're going to cross that one off. In the future, they're bringing out a free service, maybe that improves, and the game library starts to improve, we can incorporate that in, but for now we're just... Nintendo Switch Online gives you access to a library of classic NES and SNES titles, but it comes as more of a bonus for getting the online service, probably because the online service is awful. So I hesitate calling it a subscription service the same way the others are, so we're crossing it off. Apple Arcade is a bit of an outlier. It's definitely a subscription service, but it's one that's focused more on mobile gaming. And that isn't a bad thing, and I actually think it's exciting how Apple are pushing the boundaries of what can be considered a game with a mobile label. But it does make it hard to compare with other games that are relying on AAA titles to sell subscriptions, which Apple isn't trying to compete with. They're doing their own thing, which I appreciate. I think Apple Arcade's gotten off to a good start, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and I probably would like to add this to the subscription comparison somewhere down the line, but I don't have any Apple products at the moment anyway, so I can't. So never mind. I'm crossing it off. So that leaves us with the big four: Microsoft, Sony, EA, Ubisoft. I'm going to make videos on each publisher's game library soon, but for now we can take a high-level look at each of them. So let's start with the two that are available solely on PC, Ubisoft and EA. As you would expect, most of the games on offer here are created by the publisher. Uplay Plus gives you priority access to upcoming games like Watch Dogs Legion, and there are countless hours to be poured into the publisher's main franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Tom Clancy games. So value for you is probably going to come down to whether you enjoy those franchises and you enjoy the hours that you can pour into them. Looking beyond that, there isn't much on offer. EA Origin Basic is really cheap. A year's subscription is around 1/3 of the retail price of a game like the latest FIFA or Star Wars Battlefront. So why not just play either of those games on Origin Access for a year? EA lock their latest titles to the Premier version, which is 5 times the price of Basic and makes it the most expensive of all subscriptions. With that, you can get the latest FIFA, so FIFA 20 or Madden 20, and games like the new Star Wars Jedi, which for some people might be worth it, but then it becomes much more expensive than just buying those games outright. So out of the two, Basic looks like the obvious choice right now, unless you're dying to play a game like Star Wars Jedi or Anthem. And if that's you, shame on you. Bad viewer. So the two best subscriptions come from the generational rivals, Sony and Microsoft. These offer the best libraries at middling price points, so you're probably right now surface level getting the best value for money out of one of these two. I genuinely can't tell you which of the two is better at this point. Even if I played through every game on both consoles, a lot of it is just going to be down to personal preference. What I can say about the libraries right now is that PlayStation offers 650 games, so it's a massive library that includes classic PlayStation 1 and 2 titles and, some of the latest PS4 exclusives. So I joined the service because God of War and Uncharted 4 were on there, which are, two of the biggest exclusive titles that Sony's had this generation, and by the time I got to them, they'd gone, which was great because I was going to use those as my next 2 videos. And they're both pretty evenly matched in terms of pricing. Xbox Game Pass is a little bit more expensive, but that gives you the access to the live service on top of that, so there's really not much between the two. Where the big difference could be going forward is how much the companies commit to the subscription service. Microsoft has stated their commitment to all their first-party games being released day one on Game Pass. They're constantly adding more companies to Xbox Game Studios, and games like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is coming out next month, and Halo Infinite later down the line, will most likely all be released on Game Pass the same day as their mainline release. Sony is leaving its next big project, The Last of Us 2, to traditional purchasing methods. And this makes a lot of sense because Sony have had far more success with their exclusive titles this generation than Microsoft, who has basically been clinging to Halo. Sure, every Halo game is coming to PC, and Reach is already here, and it plays really well. But if you want a sprawling single-player campaign, there's not a lot that Microsoft can give you that you can't get anywhere else. Meanwhile, Sony is over here like God of War, Last of Us 2, Uncharted 4, Spider-Man. What more do you want? And that reputation means Sony knows people will pay full price for their games. Makes sense, right? But it might give Microsoft the advantage if video game subscriptions eventually keep gaining popularity and maybe even take over the traditional purchasing method, leaving everything to streaming and subscription services. I know you probably don't think it will happen, right? And I think that's what Blockbuster thought about streaming TV and films. I bet Virgin Megastores, or Zavvi, thought that about streaming music. I bet your local record store thought that a big CD chain like Virgin Megastores, that's not going to take over record shops. I bet your local video store didn't think that mailing videos to your house would ever work. You didn't think about that, did you? You got to think ahead. Video games are going to be This video is probably 5 minutes long, but I've been here hours. I'm getting delirious. You have no idea how many takes this took. It was many. It was a lot. I hope this gets easier. So it's the start of a new year, the start of a new decade. We're on the precipice of a new generation of video game wars. But this one might also be the start of video game subscription wars.